Welcome back. This is John Locke, and today I'm answering a question that I got from a friend of mine in the WordPress space. And this question goes, Hey John, got any videos or resources on removing content to clean up a site? We're doing some fall cleaning to the podcast site, and we want to remove dated content that isn't relevant to WordPress, podcasting, marketing, etc. So this person's looking for some tips basically to remove irrelevant content. And yes, I do have some tips. I'm going to walk you through how I keep my site pruned and how I keep my site updated to make sure that everything is still relevant. I'm going to give you some real examples here. So the first stop is I'm going to stop in my Google Analytics and I'm going to check out what things are getting traffic. And this is one thing that I'm going to do to put things on the possibly call these things list, or possibly, cut these out list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to behavior, site content. I want all pages. So what I'm going to do is first is I'm going to set this to a time frame that's long enough to actually judge whether I should even consider culling things from this list or consider pruning it. I know a lot of people disagree with pruning. I did a prune of this site probably about 9 or 10 months ago. Maybe it was even a year ago. I'm not even sure at this point, but I got rid of probably about 20 or so posts. And the result was my traffic did not go down at all. So obviously I wasn't pruning anything too important. So I'm going to give myself 6 months here. That's usually what I do. So that would be March. And just so you know too, like my traffic tends to be a lot during the work weeks. So these little dips here are usually over the weekend. I get most of my traffic on a Monday through Friday from different parts of the globe. And the next thing I'm going to want to do too is set this with a big enough number to where I can get all the stuff that's down at the bottom. Mind you too, when I first started blogging around 2012, 2013, really it was more focused on web design and WordPress. This is a newer article. This is only in the last year or so that I put this up. This is already my #1 article. This one has risen a lot. This one was a #1 article for about a year ago. And a lot of these are web design focused. This one is not. This one is more around SEO, which is one of the pages that I try and keep updated and try and keep this one fresh. This is on Google Review Stars. The homepage, interestingly enough, over the last 6 months, that is the 10th most trafficked page. Most people come to my site through a blog article. So let's look at the things that I really want to push when it comes to this, which is the SEO. So this one is about redirects. That one's fine. This one, setting the service area on Google My Business, that's about SEO, so that's fine. I like seeing that up here. WordPress tags helping SEO. Do they help SEO? That one's up here. That's fine. Changing the article publish date. I'm kind of surprised this one is doing this good in a way that this is getting this much traffic, but hey, I'll take it. Buying extra domains and all that. These are all good. This is all good numbers. I like that. It's still, you're going to notice like a lot of web design and WordPress stuff. That's just, it is what it is. But let's go down. Let's keep scrolling down and let's try and figure out like what we want to cut. So what I'm really looking for in the stuff that's on the list of possible stuff to cull is stuff that maybe has only been visited once a month. Business lessons from pro wrestling. I kind of like this article, and it looks like it is a pretty robust time on page. People actually are on this for about 4 minutes, so I'm probably not going to cut this one. Content marketing is the new advertising. Well, people are on this. They're only visiting about once a month, but it looks like whoever was on it for about 7 minutes. creating a custom WordPress login page. I'm not sure that I want to get rid of this one because actually this one's here for my own personal use if I ever forget. There's a lot of these tag pages. People click these. These aren't in the actual Google index. People are just clicking these on the site. Web development projects require over communication. Now, I've had people share this a lot. It looks like people are on there for 6 minutes. Why good web hosting makes a difference. I might redirect that because I actually have a lot of pages that are about web hosting. This is another one here. Well, no, this is actually not about web hosting. This is about page speed. This is a WP Tonic episode that's on there, so I might cut this one. Your website isn't Field of Dreams. I actually like this one, so I'm not going to cut it. The bounce rate is actually pretty good. It's only 33%, so probably not going to cut that one. Adding a Facebook like box to your website. I think I actually rank pretty decently for this one, but only 5 people visited it, so I might cut this one. Better web projects, part 2, more testing, gather website content. This is a 3-part series, and I might actually combine all this into one article. That might be the best thing to do. Okay, because people are on it, but not a lot of people. And this is actually probably better instead of a 3-part article is a 1-part article. I really don't like multi-part articles because usually when you split an article into 2 or more pieces, what ends up happening is one of them will get most of the traffic, and then the other pieces of the actual thing won't get that much traffic. So I'll probably combine that. This one on customer service from the Canless restaurant in Seattle, I'm probably not going to cut this one. I really do like this article, but even though only a few people visited it, I do like it, so I'm probably not going to cut it. Not relying on referrals. This is about marketing. I might cut this. This has got a high bounce rate. People are on it for 5 minutes, but maybe. Let's take a look at some of these other ones. Good ideas have to be sold. I really think this is kind of a weaker article, so I might cut this one. And I'll show you what I'm going to do with that. So I'm going to show you something right now when it comes to that. So this is my 404 page, and this is a good place for me to keep all my categories so I can kind of look at it. Now, 2 years ago in mid-2017, when I was really trying to shift away from WordPress and trying to become more about SEO, I had most of my categories. These are all blog posts, and these are the categories. And one of the things I did was make it to where every blog post only had one category. I didn't have them in multiple categories. That's what I use the tags for. If I want to, give them multiple taxonomies, then I use the tags. But as far as the categories, these are indexed. The categories are indexed, and I don't have a ton of them. But at the time, WordPress had the most. And then web design was number 2, and SEO was like down here. But I've written a lot about SEO since then, or recategorized some of these. And I think this has helped Google a little bit see this site as more of a destination for SEO instead of just WordPress and web design, because it still kind of sees this site as being in this bucket, but more and more it's starting to trust it for this bucket, like the SEO bucket. So that's something that I've tried to do. Okay, so that's one thing. So when it comes down to cutting the actual pages that are underperforming, like these ones that are like down here and in the place where like people are only seeing it once a month, that sort of thing, I didn't just delete them off the face of the web. I'm a type of person, I like to hold on to the pieces that I've written just to kind of keep it somewhere. And so what I did is I redirected them from my own website over to this site. This is johnjlocke.com. A few people know about this, but I have a lot of different writing here. I have writing here that I've done just for this site. And then I have other writing that was once on the lockdowndesign.com. Now it's lockdownseo.com website. But I redirected a lot of them over here. So these ones, elements of a successful WooCommerce website. Why your about page is a big opportunity. First you have to believe. All these different ones, you can see they're from like 2015 and all this. These just never really did that good as far as like traffic, and nobody really super commented on them a lot. They didn't have comments for one. That's another thing that I'm looking at when I'm looking at this cull list, like what has comments. If it has comments, then I'm probably not going to cut it because it shows that people are actually interested in it. But if something down here has 0 comments, then that just shows me that not a lot of people are interested in it. And so it's not generating a lot of engagement. So it could definitely be on the cut list. Those are ones that ended up over here on this site. So this is just a whole list of different things. If you go all the way down here, then you get ones that I wrote just for this site, like this one, but some of these other ones were originally on Lockdown Design, Lockdown SEO. So there's that. I only want to keep, good performing stuff. But let's say that I've got ones that I want to update. So we have on our list already, we've got one 3-part article that we're going to combine. This one I'll probably get rid of, multitasking. And I'll just give it the date and redirect it and all that. But as far as ones that need to be updated, there's certain articles that do pretty good that are more up near the top of all this, that are up way up here. There's certain ones that I want to make sure that I'm always keeping up on. So these certain ones I keep improving, and I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So this one right here, setting your service area on Google My Business. This one needs to be updated, and I'll tell you why. So right here it mentions the Google Plus page, so that needs to be changed. Any mention of Google Plus, because Google Plus is no more, so that's got to go. But one thing that I changed with this is whenever I see things that change in the landscape, I go ahead and add notes, or I change the actual what's on the page. Like this one right here, it used to be this was about setting a radius around your business location. You could set it out, and that's why it has this background with the radius here. But Google changed it to where you can no longer do that. And actually they took away all the radius settings as of a couple of days ago. So I added this video about setting your service area to keep people on the page a little bit longer. And then here, I need to change this. Setting your service area on Google Plus. See, that's wrong. It needs to say Google My Business instead of Google Plus. But these steps here, I already changed these. It used to say something different here. This was completely different. This was a completely different screenshot before. This was the old method, and so I changed that up. Okay, so that's something on my to-do list right now. Okay, so let's search something else that I know is in here. There are certain ones that I take care of, and they're the ones that usually are near the top. All these ones I'm going to take care of. So this one, Social Media Colors 2019, I actually first published this probably about 2 or 3 years ago. And I changed this each year, of course, but I also update it. Now, when I first started this, I think it only had 26 or 27 different brand colors. But I just updated it to reflect Yahoo just launched a new logo, and so the color on that changed. But before that, the Facebook color changed. You'll notice, like in the Facebook app, their logo has this new blue and this is the blue that's on the desktop, but this is the main blue that they're heading toward. Their actual logo and stuff with the circle, it has this new blue. So I changed that. That was in May. And Google Plus actually went away at that point too, so I updated it then. This was updated when Twitter did their brand change. YouTube, maybe about 9-10 months ago, changed their branding, so I changed this color. This was a different red before. Instagram, it's still so confusing trying to figure out Instagram, so these are the colors that are close in the gradient. Slack changed their stuff not that long ago, so I changed Slack. And I add new ones to this too as people tell me about ones that should be up here. Vimeo, I had to change this. Before, this was like blue, and then it had a pink and neon green. But I changed this to their actual branding because that was updated. So this is one of the ones that I keep up on. And Slack before too, I had different colors here because they had different ones in their logo. There was like a whole nother row of like these secondary colors, but they came out with new branding a few months ago, so I updated it then. So this is one of the articles that I keep up with. And by the way, too, like the authentic.com site, the social media colors was up above mine in search for a while. And also there is another one, Design UI, like their social media colors. But I was like number 2 for a little while. I was number 1, then I was number 2, and then it went back up to number 1. So this one, the Ultimate Guide to Google Review Stars, this was originally called What You Don't Know, or Things That You Should Know About Google Review Stars, or What You Might Not Know About Google Review Stars. So because this is one of the ones before, at one point, like 2 years ago, this was actually giving me most of my traffic. This was actually my number 1 traffic generating page. But it's kind of slipped down. I think it's ranking like, in the bottom part of the top 10 now. So one of the things that I had to update in this as through time, they used to have the Google map. They would go by the Bayesian average. I can't say it. But it used to even if you had 9 5-star reviews, it used to rank you as a 4.9, and people would give me all kinds of questions about that. So I would put this in, and I still have this just kind of for posterity, but this used to be a much longer section in here. But all people really need to know now is if you have 1 review, then it'll give you the accurate star ratings for that. So the review links, as far as this, I update this to kind of keep up with the times, whatever's happening at the time. I keep up with that. So it's showing people like different ways of getting the link. This is an outdated thing. I might update this as well. But I added new sections to this actually not that long ago. This part was in here about normal and abnormal review patterns because people would ask about this a lot. But this is kind of like where it ended at first, or I think right here. Do 1-star reviews affect rankings? And I added this one about getting star ratings in organic search results because this was a hot topic for a little while, but now I'm probably going to have to edit this as well. But this just changed, and I actually ended up making a whole separate article about this. But this was a thing that added to it too. So there's certain ones that I go back and I'll update as things change. I will update that information. So anything to do with code, anything with code snippets, I've had to change as time goes on. This changing the bullet color of a list item, like this one I just changed as well. So anything like that, you're going to want to update as time goes on. If you get new information, then you're going to want to update it. But basically what you're looking for is anything that's like way underperforming, or if it's drawing traffic, then you want to update it, and you're going to want to give favor to the stuff that's at the top of the food chain, meaning the stuff that's already bringing you traffic, or the stuff that's already giving you visits, and maybe you rank like in the top 10, or maybe you rank on page 2, but you're within striking distance of getting to the top. And I'll show you one last. Okay, so not that one, this one. Okay. So this article was on how to see what tags a YouTube video is using. And at first this was in the top 10, but it wasn't number 1. And one of the things that I noticed, this was what I was doing at the time. I was just using the view source and looking for the keywords. But then I used a different method. I was using the vidIQ Chrome extension, and it's much easier for a lot of people. So I added this to the article with the screenshot and how to do it and all that. And you can see like the different tags, like illustrating, like, here's the keywords, and you can see that. So, and then also about just a little bit about if you copy your competitors' YouTube keyword tags, are you going to rank high? Because I think that's a question that a lot of people have, and why they actually want to copy the keywords or see what their competitor keyword tags are on YouTube in the first place. So that's one of the things that I put in right at the end. But just adding this part right here actually propelled this article to #1, because before I think it was like in the top 3, but it wasn't #1. But adding this part just made it a little bit more complete. So I really do kind of focus more on pages that are already doing well, but I want to see them do a little bit better. Okay, one last thing that I want to go over here too, that I didn't mention so far, is this, and that is not trimming out anything that has backlinks to it. So let's say that I'm down here and I'm looking at my lower traffic pages, ones that only get a visit maybe once every month or so. And I'm looking at this one, like, we'll say, for example, create a custom WordPress login page. I'm going to say, should I cut this page? Maybe I'm going to cut this page. Maybe I'm going to forward it back over to my other site, because I don't want it on this site, because I'm really trying to make this site here all about SEO. But I want this page to not go away forever, but I want it to be somewhere, but not on this site. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plop it into Ahrefs, and I'm going to see, does it have any referring domains? And lo and behold, it has 3 referring domains. I bet you one of these is mine, my other site, but let's see if it has a referring domain from anywhere else. Because if it is backlinks, I want that link equity pouring into my site. So it looks like there's a nofollow link from Binary Moon. There's a nofollow link from Website Success Tools. And then this is from Lockedown Design, from when it was this page. And even though these are no follows, I think I'm going to leave this page as is, and I'm not going to call it out. I'm not going to prune it off of this website. And you can check out our video on no follow links, why I would choose to keep this one here. But let's take a look at another one. Let's say, let's see. Let's look at this one, like actually, let's look at this one. We'll say the multitasking hurts productivity. Let's look at this one. Let's see if this one has any backlinks. This one to me seems like a prime candidate to move over to my other site and just be done with it on this site. Because for one, it's not getting a lot of traffic. For two, this is just kind of, it's nothing to do with SEO, and that's not the bucket that I want this site to be in. But let's take a look. So this one actually has some followed links from Fast Track Team. 10 reasons why you should be outsourcing your business now. So what I'm going to probably do with this article anyway, since it is getting a followed link from this site, and even though the domain rating isn't high and the URL rating isn't super high, this can still be useful. So let's see where some of these links go. I'm going to probably try and figure out what internal links I can point towards some of my key pages, like my service pages on my website, to make them rank higher. So these are external links, which is fine. That's an external link. This must be from my phase when I was just writing just to write and be a good writer. These are all external links. Okay, so not many. I don't think I have any internal links on this page right now. Okay, so that's not good. We don't want that. we want to internally link. So this is going to be a page where I try and link to something else on my website, preferably a service page like one of these pages I might want to try and link to. So that's the kind of the nuts and bolts of this whole deal around pruning and improving content. So the big thing, look at the list, see what's not performing, see what's getting backlinks. The stuff way up here that's getting a lot of traffic, you want to take care of this stuff and update it and improve it. And if it's getting links, if it's a page with a lot of links, or even just a link or two, you're going to want to leverage that, because that means that page rank, that link equity voting power, is going into this page, so that should travel somewhere else on your site. So those are kind of the things I look at. And again, I don't delete these out forever. I just move them over to another site of mine that where I can just kind of keep track of them and keep them around for history, but they're not clogging up my site. Because again, I want to make sure that like this category, the SEO category, has got more stuff here than the web design WordPress. And I also want to be boosting up stuff like marketing and possibly social media a little bit higher to get more of a percentage. Because believe it or not, as far as like categories like marketing and advertising is a little bit different category in Google's eyes than web design and web development. They're like they're related, but they're not the same. So I hope that makes a lot of sense when it comes to that. And back to my friend's original question about podcasting, you might consider, if you're making a site that's all about podcasting, that would be one thing. Like if you were reviewing microphones and talking about setups and all these different things, that might be one thing. But if you just have a podcast, I just consider that another form of content. And so if you have the podcast itself, but also the written content, which is easier to index than the audio, even though Google is taking steps toward indexing the audio as well. I would look at those, and I would consider your site, because I know what your site is. It's probably more of a marketing thing if that's where you want it to go. Obviously you're going to want to keep the WordPress stuff, but if you're focusing more on marketing, and things like that, it all depends, but your older articles and stuff like that, if they're underperforming, you could do something else with them. If there's, updated information or information that needs to be updated, and you can go back and look at your oldest archives, and there's probably stuff there that could either be culled or it could be updated, or do something else with it. If you're going to have to go way back, like many years to see that, but I do know it's there. Hope that makes sense. My name's John Locke. My business is Lockdown Design and SEO. I'm here every single day making videos on SEO. And thank you to all the new subscribers who have come on recently. We really super appreciate it. That's it for now. I'll be here tomorrow. Till next time. Peace.